Hello, everybody. Welcome to another awesome episode of Still Random and Weird. I am your host today, Sheena,
Sarah, welcome, welcome. So grateful for you for being here today.
and it's so good to be back, my little nerdlings. Last week I got bronchitis, as you can still probably hear. Kind of probably sound like Sheena after dark, but I'm here, I'm alive, I'm breathing, kind of.
Yay. Kind of. Yeah, I mean, you sound good. You sound good. But if you need a moment, just, let me know.
Yeah. So, how have you been in a couple of weeks?
Not bad, not bad. I'm so excited. I got a new bookshelf for my, bedside next to my side of the bed. And
Yay!
so I know you can tell you're old when you're excited to get new furniture. New refrigerators, new washers and dryers. It's like, oh my God, this is so great. Instead of like, toys or TVs or like gaming systems or I don't know. But yeah, I got a new so I actually that's what I've been doing. That's what I was doing beforehand. And so my alarm went off and I was like, "Oh, it's I gotta set up and everything." But yeah, I was that's what I was doing. It's nothing major. I did go on a little like vacation type of thing just this past weekend with my friend Janice and my mom and Janice's mom, which was really fun. We just went to intercourse. So we stayed in intercourse, Of course I love like the shirts, I love intercourse. And, I was like, I don't even if I was a tourist, I don't think I could wear that shirt. I mean, call me a prude. I don't know. I don't think especially living in Amish country, I don't think I could wear something like that in front of the Amish and the Mennonite people. Like
I would.
I can't even say like, "Oh my God," in front of them because I was taught, don't say God, don't say God.
I was
But
told that for a different reason. I was Mormon.
well, yeah, you were Mormon, so. But
So,
yeah, so I mean,
yeah.
it was fun. It was just for a few days, and kids had off from school, so I mean, I didn't have to worry about getting them. Where they were with Mike and my mother-in-law, and it was nice. We had a little girls' weekend, and
It's always nice to get out and do something without kids, from what I hear. I mean, not that I have kids.
yeah, from what you hear, no, but
I got sick because I went out and did people-y things.
geez, again,
Well, no, this
what?
is from when I went to the Cherry Blossom Festival
Okay, because I know the
because,
last time was from your coworker, right? Or because you started your new job, and
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
last time was that. But this time it was because I was surrounded by pollen and people.
okay,
So,
okay,
yay, lucky me.
yay.
So, now that I can actually sit up and not like die, I am going to bring you the story of the Bell Witch. Are you familiar at all with the Bell Witch?
I am not, so feel free to start from the beginning. I love learning new things. So I when you talk specifically when you talked about this, well, I guess it was like 2 weeks ago. I did not look it up. I wanted to know nothing about it because I wanted to hear it from you. I wanted to learn from you. So I know nothing.
So, for me, there is a movie called An American Haunting,
Okay.
which was back in 2005, that was based off of this story. So, I want you to imagine that you are a farmer in 1817 Tennessee. What are your biggest concerns? Your crops, your neighbors, and maybe whether or not God is watching you closely enough. Life is simple, life is quiet. But then one night, something starts knocking inside your walls. Not outside, inside. Like chains being dragged, like gnats gnawing through your bedposts. Like something is already in the house with you and it's been there for a while. So you light a candle, the sound stops. You blow out the candle, and the sound starts again. And then over the next 4 years, things get significantly worse. So What is this? The Bell Witch of Adams, Tennessee, America's most documented haunting, a ghost that had a type, strong opinions about a teenage girl's love life, and a personal vendetta against one specific man that it saw all the way through to his death. This is not about a story about a ghost who's scary. This is a story about a ghost who is committed. So let's set the scene here. We've got Adams, Tennessee, 1817. The population is pretty much just farmers and their families and a lot of dark forest. The Bell family, John, his wife Lucy, and their children had been on their Red River farm since 1804. 13 years of peaceful, uneventful frontier life. Then John Bell spots something on the edge of his field, a strange animal. Witnesses would later describe it as looking like a dog with the head of a rabbit. And if that had been me, I would have been, ooh, furry, let me pet. And that's how I die. But this is Tennessee.
Yeah.
So shoot first, ask questions later.
Exactly.
But
Exactly. We don't like
he
different.
didn't. Right. So he tried to shoot it and it disappears. According to him, there is witch beauty, which honestly, like I said, if I saw a dog rabbit at the edge of my property, I think more than likely, besides going, is it friend? I would move. I don't think I would have shot it. I would have been like, nope, nope, it's your property now. Bye.
Definitely. See ya. Going somewhere else.
Yeah. But John Bell does not leave. So that night is when the knocking starts. Then the chains dragging. Then something that sounds like dogs fighting inside the walls. The family is terrified, but this is the key. They tell no one for about a year because, of course, it's 1817 and your reputation is everything. Eventually, they have to tell someone because things start getting physical. It starts slapping people, pulling hair in the middle of the night, yanking quilts off of the bed, pinching. It steals the sugar from the bowl and spills the milk, which in 1817 is a genuine crisis.
Gosh. So it's actually like causing havoc in the house,
Hmm.
inside the house.
Yep. So word finally gets out, and neighbors start coming over to investigate because, well, this is their TV. And then they witness it too, though. People start traveling from miles around to visit the Bell Farm, which is insane when you consider that the roads were terrible and they came anyways, specifically to see a ghost. The 19th century was definitely a different time.
So people
According,
actually traveled to this house, these Bell family's house to
yes,
witness this.
to their farm. Yep.
They became a tourist attraction.
Hmm.
Huh. Okay.
So, one documented instance of when they asked politely what the Bell Witch wanted, it said, I am a spirit. I once was very happy, and I have been disturbed and made unhappy. I am the spirit of a person who was buried in the woods nearby, and one of my teeth was lost under this house. I am here looking for that tooth. Okay, to which I don't like disembodied teeth. That
I'm
is
okay with that. It's evil children. It's possessed children that get me, but
so, according to her, tooth is what she came back from the dead for. A tooth.
wait, a tooth.
Mm-hmm.
Like dental work. Dental.
Like one of her teeth. Yep.
What? She was okay, I'm sorry. I'll let you explain.
So here's where it gets interesting, though, because this ghost is not indiscriminate. She does have preferences on the people in the house. All right.
Okay, so like she likes certain people, hates other people?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, okay.
So Lucy Bell, who is John's wife, is the ghost's favorite person on earth, living or dead. She regularly brings her fresh fruit, sings her hymns, and calls her, and I quote, the most perfect woman to walk the earth. Lucy is beloved, Lucy is protected, nothing bad happens to Lucy. To which, if you were Lucy, it would be really comforting, but yet really alarming because be like, why me?
I think I would just say, "Thank God I'm freaking safe." That's
Mhm.
what I would be thinking. I ain't gonna question. I'll be like, "Okay, thank you. No, I'm good. I'm good with you too. Thank you," and be done with it. Seriously.
So then there's John Bell, Mr. Point and Shoot himself. She hated him, specifically personally, with the focused intensity of someone who has been wronged and has nothing but time. She slaps him, she torments him, she makes him sick. She works on this man for 4 years. When he finally dies in December of 1820, found in his bed, a vial of unknown liquid nearby, his family suspecting poison. The Bell Witch allegedly shows up to his funeral and sings drinking songs.
So he killed himself is what they're thinking, or maybe did she have a hand in it?
They think that she had a hand in it because they found a vial that they couldn't find, that they didn't know of what it
Okay.
was. And then they tested it out on a cat and it immediately killed it.
Okay. So she killed him. Interesting. I would be more than grateful to be on her good list after this. No questions asked.
Well, and the thing is that, not to mention, she's like celebrating his death, is that the identity of the witch was most likely a neighbor named Kate Batts, who believed that John Bell had cheated her in a land deal, which means this entire 4 year haunting, the sleepless nights, the hair pulling, the stolen sugar, the dead man, may have started over a real estate dispute. And in a way, I mean, she did what she could do, as a woman of the early 1800s.
Very, very limited. Very limited in that time.
Came back, haunted the man to death. I mean, that's kind of a power move.
It is. I mean, if people don't have power in their life here on Earth, it makes sense that they're gonna have more power, more freedom in the spirit realm. I mean, who's gonna stop them? Who's gonna So if someone can do that, why not? I'm well, God, I don't wanna, like set anybody off, like come
This
haunt
is
me.
this is your be nice or you'll be haunted.
Exactly. This is why karma comes back to get you in the end. I strongly believe in karma. It's who knows. I mean, it's. I feel like you put it out there and it's negative, you're gonna get it back. In a negative way. Who knows?
And so then there's Betsy Bell, which is one of the children and the teenage daughter who receives excuse me, some of the worst physical abuse, but for a completely different reason. The witch decided she did not approve of Betsy's boyfriend, Joshua Gardner. She taunts them, physically attacks Betsy when she's near him, and makes the relationship so miserable that Betsy eventually calls it off. A ghost torpedoed a teenage relationship because she didn't like the boy. I mean,
So, I mean, wasn't there any other way that she could have it? I mean, okay.
I bet there's some parents out there that wish they could, borrow the Bell Witch for their children's relationships.
Yeah, but I mean, good grief. I mean, I mean, did it say like what she did to what did she do to?
She slapped her. She would pinch her anytime that she got near.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you have limited means as to what you can do as a spirit, but I just feel like that's a little extreme. I wonder if there's reasoning why she didn't like the guy. Maybe she, saw like what he, how he was living. I don't know, but a little extreme. All right, poor Betsy.
So now, with that, all of that going on, this is going to bring up some very interesting people who are coming and visiting, right? So, one of the most famous people to ever go down there and visit is Mr. Andrew Jackson himself. Now, this is pre-presidency.
Okay, I was just gonna say, you mean like the president?
Not president yet.
Okay, but same Andrew Jackson.
Same
Okay.
Andrew Jackson.
Okay.
And so with this, we go through and just be like, so at that time he was General Andrew Jackson. So he traveled from Nashville to investigate. And according to multiple accounts, his wagon froze on a dry road and could not be moved no matter how hard his men pushed. Jackson reportedly said, "By the eternal boys, this must be the witch." A voice from the woods replied, "All right, General, let the wagon move on. I'll see you tonight." His men were so shaken after one night that they left the next day. And Jackson is quoted in saying he'd rather face the entire British army than spend another night with the Bell Witch.
Good
So,
Lord.
yeah. So, as I said, John Bell died in 1820 under strange circumstances. He was made incredibly ill. And there's also the Bell Witch Cave, which is there in the area. So, what happens next after? Okay, sorry. Blown all over the place. And I'm a little lost.
So she was pretty well known. I mean, if Andrew Jackson is like wanting to like check her out, I mean, she's pretty. I mean, this is like, she's like a minor celebrity in the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes.
Incredible.
And so with this, though, too, after she goes through and she kills John Bell, and of course, she's singing, drinking songs and celebrating that John Bell is dead. And of course, though, too, there are no mention of the Bell family in Jackson's actual papers, but then at the same time, this is Andrew Jackson, so who knows? This could just be either a tale or, something that they didn't want written down. Now, a couple of other funny things, too, with this is that the witch would allegedly attend church services, would quote scripture, would discuss current events, at one point claimed to be a spirit from everywhere, heaven, hell, the earth. I am in the air, the houses, at any place and time, and have been created by millions of years. So then what happens is that after John Bell is dead, and she says goodbye, but she tells the surviving family that she'll be gone for 7 years. And that's it. She's gone exactly for 7 years. February 1828, the beds start shaking again. Strange noises return. Then she vanishes again, and this time promising to return in 107 years. So 1935, to haunt the Bell descendants. 1935 rolls around, and again, in Adams, Tennessee, collectively loses its mind. Journalists descend. A magician plans to spend a night in the cave and capture her on film. A group of teenagers allegedly spot her during a weenie roast, which is the most Tennessee sentence I have ever read. Nashville's WSM radio broadcasts a 40-minute Bell Witch dramatization with over 40 actors. The whole state treats it like a holiday. Some locals report strange events, noises from the cave, corn sacks, inexplicably emptied, broken beds. Others think it's mass hysteria, and possibly both are true. The Bell Witch Cave still stands on the property, which is where her spirit is known to stay. With this now, the property is still in the Adams family, or is still there as well. Ghost hunters have been there. Ghost Adventures has been there.
Okay.
There's been a lot of historians and tourists there every year. There's a lot of things that happen at the Bell Witch Cave, and which one of the big things is that if you take something from the Bell Witch Cave, like a
Mhm.
rock or anything like that, you will feel the you'll have some mysterious little circumstances that happen to you
Okay.
until you send it back.
Okay.
So if you go to visit, because um, they have experience there's been a Native American body had been found in the cave as well. And of course my computer's got to be glitching out on me here. And so you can go visit the cave, just don't take anything. And that's the thing, it leaves a lot to the imagination, because was it Kate Batts or was it something else? Was it part of Kate Batts' spirit when she passed that went into the collective as well? Because, saying that I have been here for millions of years. And so I'm going to read you a story of an experience with the Bell Witch that the Lost Sun on Reddit posted about 6 years ago. So it goes like this. I lived in Adams, Tennessee, growing up from about ages 14 to 18, which was about 2004 to 2008. A couple of weeks after my family and I moved there, something unexpected happened. I was mowing on my dad's tractor with a big 8-foot wide back end mower. I was going down a hill when my horizon line violently was thrown around as the tractor tires hit something. I disengaged the mower, pulled the tractor around the base of the hill I had just gone down. My blood went cold as I looked up through the swath I had just cut, like a buzzer going down the middle of someone's head, making a lane in the grass. In that lane were 4 Native American burial graves. My parents started reaching out to anyone who might have been able to help us identify the graves: anthropologists, historians, accredited people, etc. Those people unanimously agreed that these 4 graves were from the Trail of Tears. They corroborated this from what I remember because of how the graves were laid, very, very shallow, with giant slabs of stone where the gravestones would be. The fact that they were interned on a hillside to keep the water from sinking in and raising the bodies, since they had to bury them so quickly. I consider myself a very logically driven and rationally minded person. Basically, I let my empirical senses try to explain something before I'll open myself to other possibilities. Yet, there were things that happened to me and my whole family that we weren't able to rationalize with the scientific mindset. One, the activity in our house started shortly after the mowing incident. We heard heavy knocking and pounding on the brick outer wall of the house, encircling the house. No matter where you were in the house, you could hear the knocking. Some nights I would hear running footsteps accompanying the pounding. This activity happened nearly every night. As the nights passed, I started feeling a heavy presence in my room, a suffocating one, like a heavy weight sitting in my solar plexus constantly. Whatever was happening decided to latch on to me. Event 2. Things continued to escalate. One night, I was letting my golden retriever out to go to the bathroom. We had a ranch style house overlooking the Red River. The door we were exiting was on the back side of the house facing the river. As I opened the door, I hear a faint whispering, something akin to leaves being blown scratching across the ground. I looked up at the trees to see if the wind was blowing. Everything was perfectly still. It was fall in Tennessee, so tons of leaves on the ground. They were not moving either. The scratchy blowing leaves noise continued, but as it continued, it grew closer and louder. It sounded like a language of some sort, like how you would imagine an incantation or something nefarious in the tone of the sound. I looked down at my golden retriever. All the hair on her back was standing, and she was snarling like a rabid wolf, yet no barking, just kind of frozen in a fear response. I started getting extremely nauseous, and I could smell sulfur. I was completely frozen when my dog launches herself through the door's threshold and starts gnashing her teeth mid-air and snarling and chomping. The voices were now coming from directly in front of me. I could hear them as someone was standing there a foot or two away. I grabbed my dog midair, pulled her inside quickly, and slammed the door and threw the deadbolt into place. The door and the frame shook violently as a vicious pounding started hammering on the threshold. I ran in with my dog to the center of the house, flipping on every light along the way. We sat there alone all night until the sun came up. My golden retriever laid across my lap the entire night, pressing into me while she whimpered for hours. All I could do was pet her and try to calm her down, which was also helping me regulate. This was impossible, though, the entire night until sunrise. The back door was thumping. Event 3. It happened when I was coming home from football practice. I had all of my gear in a gym bag left over my shoulder. This is important because of how I entered the house. As I closed the front door behind me, I began sitting down the gear bag from my left side, which caused me to look right. The room when you first walked in was our library, where we had a leather couch, chair, piano, bookshelves, and a wooden rocking chair. There was something sitting in the rocking chair. My peripheral vision caught it first, the chair going back and forth. As my vision centered on the chair, there was a humanoid looking shape sitting there, head glancing downward at the book it was holding. Long black hair drawn over its head and completely void of light. To picture what I saw, imagine the silhouette of a person, but rather a void of light. The light coming around the edges of it seemed to be eaten up by the presence, as the light spilled over the contour edges of a humanoid shape, like how black holes are visualized almost exactly. It felt like I had jumped off a bridge into ice cold water. I blasted myself backwards against the door and fell down. As I was falling, I saw the void blur suddenly as it shot across the walls of the house and out through the huge bay window looking over the river. My golden retriever was in the next room, and she sprinted to chase the shadow across the walls, barking and clawing at the walls. After it left through the window, my dog came to me and laid on my lap until my parents got home. Event 4. I was fishing with my cousin Jack on the river by our house. We were right on the bend of a river, so the moon would be shining on both sides of the river, racing out at two lines like a 90-degree angle from the house. Super beautiful when you were on edge. The reason I bring this up is that there was a lot of light on the river that evening. Jack was about 10 or so, so he reaches up and taps me. Does that lady need help? I looked where he was pointing, and there was a pale woman dressed in white clothes going back and forth picking up stones just to the left of us across the river. I had seen her many times before around the property. Whenever I would get close, she would disappear behind a tree or something similar would happen. Knowing this, I told Jack as calmly as I could that it was time for dinner and he needed to go up to my mom immediately, in an attempt not to scare him. When I walked him up and made sure he was on his way, I looked back over and she was gone. I could hear her splashing in the water below. And so these are just some that he's had in the area. And it says here on a last event, woke up outside about 3 o'clock in the morning. I was laying next to four graves on the property. The night was awfully cold, but I woke up soaked in sweat. We lived there for so long that I have many more events to share. I'm willing to have discussion about my time with you all. It is really hard for me to talk about this stuff without re-traumatizing myself. So if you have ever been to the cave, they will tell you it's lit with really dim LED string lights, and there is no direct path for the sunlight to come in and create such intense exposure on camera lenses. So yeah, um, basically, you don't want to mess with the Bell Witch. And what do you think? Do you think it could be possibly poltergeist, Kate bats, collective hallucination in a frontier community, a teenage girl faking it to get out of a bad relationship?
I mean, if she's been witnessed, I mean, I would say obviously maybe like a poltergeist or yeah, and especially and it comes over time. That's the thing that's interesting. Like
Hmm.
it comes over time. Like it's not just like I'll be back. She's like, I'll be back in 7 years. That's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, I know. She comes back, and the, in it, I know it's still in the family. Of course, the name of people who own it has changed because, sometimes that happens. But pretty much, yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think that to sit there and be like, you screwed somebody over on a land deal, and you're in an area where it was the Trail of Tears as well. So you have a lot of native influence there and a lot of wrongdoing to the native influence.
And definitely, it's definitely someone that or something that causes trouble, that causes mischief, that causes, So, I mean, that's why I think like poltergeists, because they're more like mischief makers, aren't they? I mean, they're more like
Well, it depends on because poltergeist is actually pulling usually from a teenager on energy that's happening there, and it can turn violent, it can be mischievous. That's usually when you get like your really weird things, like the chairs being put all together weirdly, or your cabinets being all open. But with this, I mean, personally, I think it's an amalgamation
okay.
of a lot of the things that happened there. You've got somebody who's been wronged. You have an area that the Native Americans have been unjustly removed from.
Hmm.
You have spirits who pass on the Trail of Tears because of this. They're in the Bell Witch Cave, which is on the property. There was found Native American bodies that were buried there and also being with white people, moving things from the cave as they do, could have made something happen. Ow, twinkles. So so I think the last straw of it possibly could have been just from Kate Bat's passing and that one part of her soul going, okay, let's get these people, I got a target for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, that could definitely be. That's interesting. And now I mean, is she still around? Have there been any recent, recent, or is she gone again for a certain amount of time?
There hasn't really been anything except for if you take something from the Bell Witch Cave that's in the area,
Okay.
because it's kind of like the whole, what is it? It Robert the doll or Peggy the doll, one of those
Yeah.
where they have to send notes or something bad happens.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Okay. So I mean, it's more or less now like people aren't experiencing her so much in their homes in that area as so much as like you take something from the cave
right.
and don't
I
return it.
feel, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing is too is like a lot of people um that's basically it, which I think is mostly, I think, from it being a native standpoint,
Hmm.
that you're taking something that doesn't belong to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if you take something, then you shouldn't have, you need to send it back or else your luck will change.
Yeah. Exactly. Which is more or less common sense. More or less common sense.
Right.
Just don't take stuff that doesn't belong to you. So
Yes.
yeah.
So I guess maybe it was a bit of karma.
Yeah. I do believe in karma. I do believe that what you put out there comes back at you.
Definitely does. And so then I kind of shortened this because my voice is kind of going.
Hmm.
So we've got you up next week.
Hmm. Myths and
And
legends and yes.
did you figure out what you're going to do?
Yes, but I think I'm gonna hold off and keep it secret.
Be all
I'm not doing the
mysterious?
Wolfman. I'm not doing the. I'm gonna save that.
Okay. Well, I just spun the wheel of names,
Yes.
of course. So I have true crime
Okay. Sweet.
is mine. So, yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I was really excited to learn about the Bell Witch. That's interesting. I'm glad. I've always wanted. Part of me has always wanted to be able to see things. Like
Mm.
my my family on my mom's side, they have a history of sensing things, seeing things, having that extra sensory perception. Like my mom has experienced things, my aunts, my grandmother. I mean, and I've seen one thing that I know of that for sure that was definitely something that I've never experienced. But I always thought it'd be really neat to be a little more sensitive than I am. But then I hear things like this and I'm like, "No, I think I'm okay with not having those particular senses." I'm kind of glad I want to be, kind of invisible to things like that, just be like, "I'm not here. Just, you do your thing somewhere else and I'll be okay. You'll be okay. It'll all be okay. That's great. Let's move on." Yeah. I'm like, you watch like those ghost shows, where they are talk about the poltergeist or the trickster ghosts and things like that that are can be hurtful or can be that touch you that and I think I'm okay not experiencing stuff like that in my lifetime. I don't know, like I don't mind maybe sensing things, like feeling things, like my mom, like she'll, I know she's sensed things, like she's like, "No, I'm not gonna go in this room. I I don't feel I don't feel good things. I don't want to go in this room." And she'll listen to those feelings and she won't go in the room. And I'm okay with feeling things like that. Maybe a quick sighting, that could be, what is it? What was it? Was my imagination was good. But I really don't know if I could handle like being like that poor little girl, like when she was like pinched and stuff and slapped. And I'm like, I don't think I'd want to just be like randomly like slapped by something. I mean, I think that would really freak me out. I mean,
Yeah.
and then like to have her, possibly kill the dad, Mr. Bell. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. Like yeah. I think I would definitely be okay with just not experiencing any of that.
Yeah. Well, I myself am clairsentient, so I sense when there are things. I can't say I've been slapped or pinched, but I have had something constantly touch me. Like just feel, just like touch, 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 touch. And I'm like, ha! So,
That's freaky.
yeah. Yeah. Well, it was my dad's crazy ex girlfriend. Apparently, somebody had been doing something and called over a spirit to her daughters or daughter-in-law or granddaughter somewhere. Um, and it was because they had a big, huge field, and it was fine during the day. When it started getting closer to night, I kept having something brush up against me, and I was just like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I can't.
No,
I
for
can
sure.
no. So
For sure.
that's the only thing that I've ever really had is just sensing something
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
and having it brush up. To be pinched and slapped, no, thank you. I already have like enough issues as it is
Yeah.
being touched.
I don't need that. I if they want to go hog wild and someone else and have fun, great. I'm happy for them, whatever. But and that's why I think I don't really want to tempt fate and call on things. I have protection here at the house. With my stones and stuff, and I've set things out and bells on my doors and I'm okay with doing some cleansings and I don't need anything visiting me.
Yeah, exactly. Same. I'm the same way. And if I go to somewhere where it's haunted, I'm like, goodbye. You do not come home with me. Goodbye,
Exactly.
goodbye,
You can
goodbye.
stay
This is your
here.
place.
I don't take things. I don't take things. I've not a single thing. Not a single thing. So, yeah.
All right. Well, so then we want you to hit us up about everything. Let us know what you think. Do you think it was a poltergeist? Do you think it was, was it Kate Batts? So, yeah, if you enjoyed our episode, leave a review, tell a friend, or if you're feeling particularly dramatic, go stand outside at 3 a.m. and tell Kate Batts you appreciate her work. Your results might vary, though.
Yeah. No, no. We're not encouraging any of that, and we're not encouraging that. That's if you all feel, comfortable doing that.
So,
I'm not
all
sending
right.
anybody. All right.
So, we'll see you next time, guys. Love
All
you.
right. Love you guys. Thanks for listening. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.